Warning. Chasing that caffeine high. Warm up. I would want to try a drink called Cocaine Energy Drink. I couldn't live without at least 1 cup of coffee a day. Caffeine is a drug, and no one under 16 should be able to drink it. Caffeine is a drug, and should be made completely illegal. Everyone is always in a rush nowadays, and we should just slow down. Listening comprehension. With its stimulating effects, it's easy to understand why coffee is the second most traded commodity on earth after oil. For many, it keeps us awake and moving through our busy days. But how does it work? What exactly does coffee do to your brain? Whenever you're awake, a chemical called adenosine slowly accumulates in your brain. And this adenosine binds to receptors which slow down brain activity. Ultimately, the more adenosine there is, the more tired your brain feels. Which makes sense, as the longer you're awake, the more fatigued you become. Conversely, while you sleep, the concentration of adenosine declines, gradually promoting wakefulness. But it turns out that the caffeine in your coffee is incredibly similar to adenosine in structure. The caffeine works its way through your bloodstream and into the brain, where it starts to compete and binds with adenosine receptors. But because it's not adenosine, the sleepiness effect isn't felt. Adenosine can no longer bind, meaning its calming properties are diminished. Which is great for you when you're feeling tired. However, with long-term use of caffeine, your brain responds by creating more adenosine receptors, which means more caffeine is required to elicit the same response. It also means that when you try to quit drinking coffee or miss your daily intake, you might experience some withdrawal symptoms and feel more tired than you would have before you ever drank coffee. But the caffeine doesn't stop there. It also stimulates the production of adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone. This increases your heart rate, gets your blood pumping, and even opens up your airways. Furthermore, it affects dopamine levels by preventing its reabsorption in the brain, which makes you feel happy. In fact, this is the exact same thing that cocaine does, just to a lesser degree. It's a drug, after all. This dopamine stimulation is also the aspect of coffee that makes it moderately addictive. So can you drink too much coffee? It turns out there is a lethal dose of caffeine which is somewhere around 150 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of your body. This means if you weigh 70 kilograms you would require 14,000 milligrams of caffeine to overdose. Put into perspective, an average cup of coffee contains roughly 150 milligrams of caffeine, meaning if you are 70 kilograms, approximately 70 cups of coffee would kill you. However, you'd have to drink those cups all at once, making it effectively impossible to overdose on caffeine from coffee, since you wouldn't be able to physically fit that much in your stomach. You'd also start experiencing mania and hallucinations before getting to this point. Caffeine also has a half-life of around 6 hours, so if you drank a standard coffee with around 150 milligrams of caffeine, after about 6 hours there will only be 75 milligrams left in your system and you'll be feeling half of the effect. And 6 hours after that, you'll have 37.5 milligrams, leaving more room for adenosine to jump back into action. Which is why you may reach for another cup throughout the day, to maintain that glorious, alert and energetic feeling. So drink up. And enjoy the buzz. While it lasts. Smile. And for all of you in school, while we know caffeine is key, so are good deals on textbooks. So we've teamed up with SlugBooks.com to get you the cheapest prices for the books you need. All you have to do is head to SlugBooks.com web link and search the ISBN number of the books you're looking for. SlugBooks will then compare prices from all across the net. Seriously, we know how expensive textbooks can be, so hopefully this will save you some money. Special thanks to SlugBooks for supporting ASAP Science. Got a burning question you want answered? Ask it in the comments or on Facebook or Twitter. And subscribe for more weekly science videos. 1. Is coffee the highest traded product in the world? 2. Are coffee and cocaine the same? 3. What does adenosine do to our bodies? 4. If you weighed 70 kilograms, how much caffeine would it take to overdose? Vocabulary. Debut, quantity. Dose, want. Snare, boring. Guzzle, free. Ho-hum, grouping. Provocative, drink. Crave, possibility. Combo, launch. Potential, catch. Unregulated, alluring. More than 500 new energy drinks have debuted this past year, and it has doctors worried. Nutritionists warn that the large doses of caffeine and sugar in each drink can snare kids on an unhealthy up and down cycle. The drinks contain megadoses of vitamins, too, which can cause their own side effects if ingested every day for a period of months. Most alarming, perhaps, are reports that kids are guzzling several in a row for the high it gives. More and more calls are coming into poison control centers from young people sick on too much caffeine. Danger adds to the appeal, and most brands target in on that idea, particularly towards male teens and 20-somethings. There is cocaine energy drink, pimp juice, and balls. Hannah Kirby, the person behind Cocaine Energy Drink, said she initially wanted to call it Reboot, a pretty ho-hum name. But the name was already taken, so she chose to be provocative. The drink is getting the attention she craved, too, for kids quickly noticed it against a backdrop of 1,000 other energy drinks. Their slogan, the legal alternative. Some beer manufacturers now produce energy beers, or beer that contains caffeine. And Red Bull, the first energy drink on the market in the West, has been mixed with alcohol by bartenders for more than a decade. The energy drink alcohol combo doesn't make you feel as drunk, but coordination and reaction times suggest otherwise. The potential for accidents and alcohol poisoning increase. Just how much caffeine does an energy drink contain? A study at the University of Florida discovered that many of the drinks contain 2 to 4 times the amount of caffeine as Coke. What's more, the serving size is usually 2/3 of a standard can. Energy drinks are currently unregulated in the U.S., but the study strongly suggests warning labels. Comprehension. What do nutritionists swarm of? Why are poison control centers being called more often? What is the appeal of names like Cocaine Energy Drink, Pimp Juice, and Balls? What is the primary concern of mixing alcohol with energy drinks? Why does the Florida study suggest regulating caffeine drinks? Discussion. Did you like this article? What was your general impression after reading this article? Have you ever, or do you often, drink energy drinks? Why not? Do you think energy drinks are dangerous? How about if you drink them every day? Should there be some form of legislation on energy drinks? Why not? Why do you think energy drinks are becoming so popular? What does our need for more energy say about our society? Are we doing too much? Why not? Do you think it's safe for kids to drink energy drinks sometimes? Every day? Several times a day? Are energy drinks a passing fad among the young, or will they go hooked and use them as adults? Caffeine is an addictive drug. Why do you think it remains legal when other harmful drugs are illegal?